Welcome to nanobugged Studios, tape 25. All right, I wanted to nail it this time, though. Here we go. All right, 9/11. Here's what happened. Bush is reading to the kids, right? Secret Service tell them, hey, planes, da 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 da. Bush, lack of reaction, goes back to reading to the kids, and that right there is because he already knew about it. And reading to the kids, he wanted to be there reading to the kids. He wanted to be there doing that because what that done was remind him why he did what he had to do. And he had to do that, all right, because he was between a rock and a hard place, all right, and he was being blackmailed. And here's what they said. They said, all right, we want you to bring down the World Trade Centers. We want a plane that crash into the White House. We want a plane to crash into the Pentagon, wherever they want them to crash, all right? That was the deal. And they wanted it to look like terrorists had done it. They wanted it to look like their people, some terrorist group had done it. That way it would, instill the fear. They could still, get some kind of recognition for all that too, after it was done. Now, Bush knew, they knew that planes wouldn't take down the World Trade Centers, right? They knew it wouldn't happen, so they planned ahead. That's because that's what the blackmailers did. They said, look, either you do this, you have it done by such date, all right? You gotta have it done by such date, all right? Or do it on such date, all right? So in 9/11, what's that? The emergency number, right? 911. I don't know if that was coincidence or if that was set up to mean something. All right, but here's what it meant. It meant this, that Bush also, he must have had to take down the building 7 too. I don't know what the deal behind that was, but for some reason they wanted those buildings taken down. Or maybe he had to bring down the World Trade Center. He says, well, hell, I might as well take down number 7 too, because we need a new building there anyway, or something like that. Because some other people got their hands in it, and they figured, well, look, as long as this is going to go down, it's got to go down, so we might as well make the best of the worst situation, all right? So some people made some investments, some people took some investments out, some people went ahead and took care of some property, so everything was planned, all right? And our the jets, they were not. They said they were out on missions, running a mission, and maybe that's what they were told they were doing, all right? They were told they were running, fake missions and stuff, practice missions. But here's the deal with that. All of them were out there, right? And that's why they were out there waiting on a signal, all right? And the signal was coming from whoever the blackmailers were. They were getting some money off the deal too, all right? And they had a back door into somewhere, and they were getting some money off the deal somewhere, right? And that's how we traced them down so quick, because the NSA put out a net, right, and waiting on that signal, because they figured, something was fixing to go down, because there had to be money involved with it somewhere down. These people were going to try to steal some money too, they're going to try to get the money. So they set out the net, and the first 2 planes hit. When they hit the trade center, they were empty Air Force planes, military planes, empty military planes. They hit the World Trade Centers, and then the people who were doing the blackmailing, they checked to see if the money was there, right? Right after that, right? Because they knew that a lot of things were fixing to change. Once that hit the news, once that hit the news, people people that run, do stock market stuff, boy, they was going to hit the phones, start trading, trying to get their money right. And so NSA called them, bam, all right, traced it. The jets were already out there waiting on the NSA to tell them where that signal was traced to, and that's how they got it. Now, what did these people have? Here's what they had: nuclear bombs. They had 2 nuclear bombs. All right, that they stole from the U.S. All right, they broken arrows. All right, they hijacked some nuclear bombs somewhere, and that I'll add this one in there too. That ship that was hit over there in the bay over there, like Japan and North Korea area, all that right there. I think it was over there in Japan or somewhere. But anyway, there was a ship hit by a freight lining ship or whatever. It was hit by it not too long ago, and let's see, it was right there just before July the 4th, 2017. All right, and because it's 2017 now, and it's July. So anyway, when they hit that, it still took them. The news reported that Japan was all wondering why it took them 6 hours to report that the accident had happened. And I'm telling you why the accident happened. It was probably because that ship had 2 nukes on, had some nukes on it, right? Because the nukes ain't all big like the silo nukes like you think. No, the nukes, they can build nukes that are relatively very small. All right, they're small enough to fit on them ships. Of course, they got them on submarines, so they can fit some on the ships, right? So that's the deal. I think that somebody tried to get away, and it took 6 hours to get them nukes back, or several hours to get them back, and that's why they didn't report it. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. This story right here is 9/11, and so that's what happened, and the 2 nukes that I say were used, and you can look at the if you go back and you look at the real live information that we know is true fact, and then you look at the so-called conspiracy information. If you put all that together, if you got any gaps, add the blackmail thing. Add the blackmail thing, and it'll all add up. All right, it all, if you just add that in there. And the 2 nukes ended up in North Carolina. Here's how: about a year later, a Air Force plane, they said it was an Air Force plane, crashed in North Carolina with 2 nuclear bombs on it. And of course, they didn't go off, but the pilot, he parachuted out, so he was okay. But yeah, 2 nukes. Okay, that was to account for either those 2 nukes were coming back from wherever they were coming from, and maybe who knows? Maybe whoever had them was like, all right, look, we're gonna be, because here's your nukes back, right? It took a year to get them back, what have you. Maybe for some reason we were having some kind of standoff, with them, like, okay, look, and finally we get the nuke. They let somebody fly off with the nukes. All right, when they let them fly off with the nukes, they gave them just enough gas to cross the line, and it crashed right when it crossed the line. I don't know. That's just crazy guess, But that'd be like a good part in the movie, right? But what may have happened was they staged that crash too to account for the nukes, because when you're with the UN and all that, and plus you got other military personnel that would start asking questions somewhere down the line. Well, look, we got 2 nuclear bombs missing, because I imagine they keep them on a pretty tight roster there, where the nuclear bombs are at. So eventually somebody's going to start asking questions. So account for them. There they were, right there. There's the 2 nukes right there, that crashed right there. So Where are they coming from? Moscow, London, somewhere like that, because that's where they were being. That's where they had them. They weren't going to blow up something in America. They had the nuclear bombs overseas, and they were going to blow up something like Moscow or London, and that's where Bush and them, they had to cover it all up, because what are they going to say? Look, y'all, hey, we got 2 broken arrows out there somewhere that might be blowing up your town if I don't do this, So, I mean, he just couldn't. He couldn't put it out there like that. He had to cover it up. They had him, but he pulled off a big hoax is what he did, and that's why it all looks like a hoax, because it is a hoax, but it's a real hoax because it had to happen, but it didn't happen like they thought it happened, and that's why the nuclear bombs didn't go off, because they saw the planes hit, so they were like, okay, he's really freaking doing it. I can't believe he's really doing it. And then you got those Israelis over there nearby that were filming the whole thing and started celebrating and stuff when the plane. So, all that is tied together to